What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we're going to be ranking all of the new high-res cards from worst to best. And this is honestly, I think that the best is way ahead, and the worst is way the worst. And I think all the other guys, there are preference decisions. There are a lot of preference decisions. And there are going to be some decisions that piss a lot of people off. Because outside of the best, who is obvious, and the worst, who is obvious, every one of these cards fills a role. And depending on who you are, you might prefer, just a hypothetical, there are people that will prefer Caruso to Devin Booker. Some people will, some people won't. But I'm going to have to rank these guys based on me specifically, and I can't just rate guys based on thinking about hypothetical people, hence why I think I had Jimmer really low, even though you put Jimmer into the hands of Splash and that man cooks with him. But the worst player by far is shaedon Sharpe. He's not terrible. He's not good either. Like, his release is slow. It's very greenable. Him and Sochan have two of the biggest green windows in his game. Not a good defender. Doesn't move fast with the ball. Good player build, but just isn't good. I try to use him at the shooting guard position. Like, I'll probably have him. Like, if I start up a nobody spent squad, I was like, maybe I'd use him. But no, like, Wesley Person's better than this guy. Like, there is just no reason to get him. Wesley Person's better than him. And going all the way back to Season 3 and getting this Ricky Davis. If you can find this Ricky Davis for 10,000 MT, he's way better. And I mean way better than shaedon Sharpe. The card's not good, unfortunately. He's the worst. Next, we got Caruso. At number 11, we have got Aleksej Caruso. Basically, he's 6'5", which means he can't standing dunk. His release, for me, sucks. I hate that release. His driving dunk is pretty good. He's got that Kobe size up, which means that the guy can go to the basket, which is huge. Like, the Kobe size up is the best straight line rim running size up in the game. It's a lot harder to use this year than last year, which is annoying. Like, it's a lot harder it's a lot harder. I don't mean it's a little bit harder. It's a lot harder than last year's. Last year's Kobe size was one of my favorite things in the game. He's a decent defender, still has a terrible player build, an iffy shooter, is missing quite a few badges. He's going to go down here at number 11, but again, Caruso is pretty good. Hence why you're seeing Josh Giddey, and like, I was pleasantly surprised by Josh Giddey. Like, I was really pleasantly surprised. You'll see it from my gameplay with Josh Giddey, that like, I'm really was I was so hyped about how much better Josh Giddey was than I expected. I really was. I genuinely thought that he was 100 times better than expected. But he's still, for me, the third worst player here. Because he's got the Curry slide. He just has this really awkward release. He doesn't come with range, which is another 30k to add on to him. He's a decent dunker, decent defender, nice 6'8" point guard. But again, is he the be-all and end-all? No, I think there's a better 6'7" point guard than him. And then this guy has to go in at number 9. Desagana Diop. But, again, I said it in my video, he should not be this good. This man has a 37 ball handle, has a 78 3-point shot, a cold zone in April, and not exceptional speed. He doesn't have exceptional speed. He has 84 vertical, which is not very good. Stamina's pretty decent. He's so average stats-wise. Like, this guy has comparable stats with A1 cards. Sure, his badges are okay. No shooting, but 31. He's got a lot of defensive ones. He's got rebounded badges. But, like, I'm telling you, Diop is... He has literally got the best animations for a power forward in this game, / player build, which includes jump shot, dribbling, player build. He has the best intangible stats, or intangible things, where it's like non-stat related thing, non-stat and badges related. He's maybe the best player build for a power. He is the best player build for a power forward in this game, as far as animations and build goes. He is the best shell of a power forward. He's got the best release in the game for off the catch and shoot, and that's not just for a big. The best release period in this game for off the catch and shoot. It's creating wise, it's not as good as a KPJ base, but Bosch with Oscar Robertson upper is probably the best catch and shoot I've used this year. And I've used Ricky Davis, I've used Billy Knight. It's job. But he can't, his stats are so bad and he is so flawed that he can't be any higher. But I've never seen a card with stats this bad be this good in modern 2Ks. Yeah, we saw in previous years where like not everyone had 99 everything and you could get away with some cards like this, aka like a Hito or an AK. I mean, AK was god. Even like a Hito Turkaloo in 2K19 or a Gugliotta in 2K19. The issue is that cards now have 99 everything and all get park sigs. Doesn't matter, this guy still has the best of them. So he's in here at number 9. Number 8 is Evan Turner. I think Evan Turner is a little bit better than Josh Giddey. So the thing about Evan Turner that a lot of people are going to say is he doesn't have unpluckable. Cool, don't use him as your primary ball handler. Play him beside a Glenn Rice because he has a great player build. His jumper is one of the smoothest in the game. Like his jumper really reminds me of like a Markel Fultz base. It reminds me of even the Glenn Rice jump shot with a better upper. Brandon Clark plays really good, and he's got Rudy Gay upper, which is the best in the game. Billy Knight is probably the best example. Actually, no, Billy Knight's got Oscar upper. I'm trying to think who has Rudy Gay upper that reminds me of. Doesn't really remind me of anyone with Rudy Gay upper. Ron Artest, that's it. Ron Artest. It reminds me a lot of the Ron Artest jump shot, which is one of my favorites in the game. He's got really good stats. He's a good dunker, 6'7", big player build, and I think I would rather run Giddey as my primary ball handler, but at the same time, if I was running a primary ball handler, I wouldn't want either of them. But for me, he's in my squad. I'm going to buy him probably tomorrow. He will come into my squad to start probably, and Denny Avdia is going to come off the bench. And then Matisse Thybulle is probably going to be my third string. That's how much I like Evan Turner. Once I get Glenn Rice to pair beside Evan Turner, and then at the small forward position, going to get myself like a Sochan or... Honestly, who do I even run there? I'm pretty sure I already have Jared Jeffrey. So once I can just get a lock at the 3. Once I have a lock at the 3, I can get Glenn at the 2 and Evan Turner at the 1. Then I'm sorted. I'm absolutely sorted for the way I like to play this game. So that is why Evan Turner is going in here at number 8. And number 7 is Detlef Schrempf, one of the best 15k opal in the game. So I've looked at a lot of the 15k. I've kind of looked at the cheap opals in this game. That's where you're getting your Joe Johnsons, your Mikal Bridges, your Series 1 cards, your Leitners, your Tyler Hansbroughs. And I still think Detlef is that little bit above your Leitner and Hansbrough. Hansbrough and Leitner, if you like those cards, fair enough. But 95 3 ball, 90 driving dunk, really good defensive stats, great. He's basically just got 90 between 90 and 93 in every stat that matters. 59 badges, big player build, really good dribble sigs, the T-Max size up, can hit the fade, can create. Oh, sorry, he has the Garland size up, I think. He creates really well. And yeah, genuinely a great card. But unfortunately, Detlef Schrempf has to come in here at number 7 because, well, there are 6 unbelievable cards ahead of him. But number 6 is going to be my controversial one. And yes, if you are really good with this card, he is higher. But I've faced him 2 or 3 times today, and people are not good with him. And it also doesn't help that he's 5GK. It's Booker. Booker is a guy that you have to know how to use a couple of things that he does really well. So his player build's not very good. He's never going to be the greatest defender. He's absolutely chick. I don't really like the upper, but he's absolutely chick with that Steph Curry base. His fade's unbelievable. But like, as good as Booker fade is Booker fade much better than like normal or like Pro 2? No. It's way better than most it's different. It's unique. It's harder to guard because it's unique. He has that Jimmy step back combined with everything Booker has. Makes him like slide 5 feet to the right if you do it that way. So he's a unique card that is very difficult to guard because of his borderline like unique sigs. The problem is that if you're not somebody, like if you're Kevin Cruz and you're labbing all of Booker's specific sigs, he's great. If you're just a normal player looking to plug and play Booker into your squad, this guy might be worse than Caruso. But again, really good defensive stats, but he's not going to be a great defender because he's Booker. He's still going to shoot the ball really well. He's going to dunk the ball really well. He's fast. He's got 30 huffs. Brilliant card. But if you are, again, somebody that is labbing with this guy, if you're somebody that is willing to put in quite a bit of time into playing offline and you're willing to struggle a little bit with Booker to eventually reach him at his peak, he might be the best point guard in the game. If you're somebody that just wants to get Booker and plug him into your squad and play him the exact same way as you played your previous point guard, he's terrible. So I got to put him because there's such a discrepancy between him being brilliant or terrible depending on who you are. And this is not even saying like, oh, you need to be a good player. There are some players that are worse than me that are going to cook with Booker, and there are guys that are 10 times better than me that are going to suck with him. It literally just depends on if you like Booker. This is not even a quote-unquote skill issue. This is a, do you like Booker? Because his animations are like Marmite. They're either the best or the worst. At number 5, we've got the most plug-and-play player in this, and it's Sochan. This guy for like 10k MT, you literally just put him in your team and he will play defense. He will hit every single open shot because this guy greens everything. He will actually hit through contests really well. He will guard the other team's best player. He hawks lanes. He gets every rebound. He's got Stevie size up, so if you do need him to go to the basket, he can use that to create some space. He is just your star. Like, he's the opposite of Devin Booker. Devin Booker is one of those guys that's like, you need to be specifically good with him. But if you are good with him, he's exceptional. Jeremy Sochan is the most plug-and-play player in this set. You can be at the highest level of comp. You could have started this game today. If you just put Jeremy Sochan in as your small forward, he will guard the other team's best player or guard wing, whatever you want him to do, at an exceptionally good rate. He will hit shots, he will dunk, and he will dribble if you need him to. Just the most ease-of-use plug-and-play player. He will do a job, and he'll do it incredibly effectively in game. And number 4, it's still got to be Giannis. Giannis is like Sochan, but a worse shooter, but still glitchy. Like, he's literally just the dark matter. I'm not the highest on dark matter Giannis. I've not been the highest for a while. I've gone out on a limb and said Ed Pinckney's better than him. I think you could argue Jared Jeffries is better than him. And I may not be the biggest fan of Giannis, but like you see in my gameplays, but there are a lot of Giannis fans out there and people that are exceptionally good with Giannis. And for that reason, I can't like knock the guy. He's still Giannis. He still gets the defensive animations. He's literally just the dark matter. That's what he is. He is the dark matter. I wonder what price he is now. Is he a buyout yet? No, we're in 115k. And it's crazy. And he's about 150. So he's in the 115k, 120 to probably, he's probably around 150k. I think 150k is a bit much. I do. I think that for a 98 overall opal, I don't, and the fact you can get someone for like 8k, and I think they're very, very comparable. Again, Giannis is a plug and play player who probably has a higher peak. Giannis can compete at a higher level than Sochan can, I'm guessing. So I guess so. I'm just doing that. I think this is a very, very close one for that number 4 and 3 spot. Or sorry, from number 5 and 4 spot. And number 3 is Cade. Cade Cunningham is a good player. He's got front clutches. He'll hit the 3, but his release is slow. He's big. He's a 6'8 point guard. He's not going to get his head mashed in, but he's also not the greatest masher in the world because we've got 6'11 Ben Simmons. 30 hoffs, really, really good card. I think you can maybe make the argument he is the best in his position. 750k, I think, is a crazy price for Cade Cunningham. I wouldn't pay more than like 300 for him at this stage. But obviously market inflation is a thing. I think he's got a lot of positives. I think he's, again, one of the best point guards in the game. I personally would take LaMelo over him. I think that's what the debate is. Like, is LaMelo better than him? I think yes. A lot of people will say no. Cade's animations are pretty good though. As far as like his dribbling goes, like tray escape, Kyle Lowry size up. But like the tray escape on a 6'8 non-shooter isn't the biggest deal in the world. But again, one of the best point guards in the game. And number 2 is Poku. I'm so high on Aleksej Pokusevski. Like, this is one of the highest I've been in the cards. Basically, I think that with his player build, he's like borderline Jonathan Bender. And we know how good Bender is. Like, Bender was the best card last week. And I think that Poku's basically the same thing. I prefer Poku's. I genuinely prefer Poku's player build. A lot of people are like, oh, Bender is a way better player build. I think Poku is a better player build. Everyone's like, oh, Poku's skinny. Yeah, but Poku has that funny player build in game where he has skinny arms, skinny legs, and the wide-ass upper body. And he's had that player build since 2K21. I think Poku's jumper is elite. Or Poku's jumper is good. I think his movement is elite. His defense is elite. There's just something about Poku that I always like in 2K. And I think Poku with basically perfect stats, perfect badges. Like, Poku literally has 55 badges. As much as people want to hype up Giannis, Giannis got 40, or he's got 52. He had 3 extra on Poku. Oh, and you only lose 4 huffs. So yeah, I really like Poku. But number 1 is obvious, Ricky Davis. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. And number 1 is Ricky. I think he's better than Terry. He's basically a slightly better, slightly bigger version of... If he still had the Paul George escape, he'd be no question number 1. But he's a slightly better and slightly bigger version of Billy Knight. And I loved Billy Knight. Like, I don't stand by Billy Knight being better than T-Mac, but like in my Billy Knight gameplay, I question whether or not he was better than T-Mac. But, nah, Ricky's so good. He's one of the best shooting guards in the game. The problem is that you can only really play 2 shooting guards because you can't really, unless you want some weird lineup where you're running like a Ben Simmons and he plays lock, or you're running like you're somehow trying to get away with running Şengün at lock or something along those lines. There are 2 spots, and the one good thing is that most people are going to get Glenn Rice, and the gap between, if you have Glenn Rice and Ricky Davis as your 2 shooting guards, both of them controlling the offense, and one with your stars, one with your bench, that's not that much of a gap between those 2 guys and the T-Mac and Terry combo. I think T-Mac and Terry combo might be better, but like those 2 guys, there was always those 2. And number 3 was Billy Knight, and Billy Knight was an RNG card. And number 4 was like Vince, who wasn't even comparable. At least Ricky and Glenn can compete. So for 150k, you can basically get the second best shooting guard combo in the game, who are probably going to be your 2 best players. If you're not, like, if you don't have millions and millions of MT and you can get those 2 guys, they'll be your 2 best players. They'll run the show for you. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Worst by far, Shaedon Sharpe. Then we've got Alex Caruso, then Josh Giddey, who I like Caruso and Giddey. It just shows how good this set is. After Giddey, we have Diop. After that, we've got Evan Turner, who I think is a freak. He's going to be my starting point guard, and I have the guy as the 5th worst player in the set. Detlef Schrempf, really good, just outclassed by other small forward power forwards. And we got Devin Booker. You can make the argument Devin Booker is number 1, but if you're somebody who doesn't want to put in the time to learn how to use Booker, just don't waste your MT on him. Then we've got Sochan, the most plug-and-play player in this entire set, who you could even maybe argue... You could argue Sochan is better than Poku and Giannis, depending on... Like, those 3 guys, I think, are very much comparable players. Then we got Cade, who, honestly, if you want to put Cade number 2 and Poku number 3, it's fine. I just really like pokusevski. And number 1, I don't think anyone's going to argue, is Ricky Davis. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.